And welcome, we're live here at the Blues Fest in Warrenpoint, and we're with none other than Irish music and rock legend, the one and only Mr. Pat McManus. Pat, it's good to see you again at the music festival.
It's lovely to be here. It's always a pleasure to come to the Warrenpoint Blues Festival.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, Pat, as you're the professor at his work. It's always the finest work. Pat, you're ultra busy. You're a true rocker, a hardest working man in show business in Ireland and abroad. What is a daily routine like for you in your gigging world?
Well, it's quite strange because when you're gigging constantly like we do, you know, you have to be very disciplined. And I mean, we're just back from a 6-week tour of Europe, and that involves a lot of travelling. You know, a lot of gigs, so you have to be very disciplined in the fact that you get to bed early. And it's the next night, which is long driving. You know, so you have to be very careful how you adapt to it. But I'm well used to it. Myself and Paul, my drummer, were old road hogs. We know how to operate on the road by now.
So, Pat, it's a rigorous job. It's not probably what young people would think of. Oh, Pat McManus, all he does is turn up at a gig and starts gigging.
People don't understand the amount of actual work that you actually put in to a concert, and when you're not actually gigging as well, then you're writing albums and stuff like that. So people, it's like almost 24/7, and when you're not doing that, you're promoting the band and you're doing interviews and stuff. So it never really stops, and people have this sort of glamorous notion that it's all, you know, sex, drugs and rock and roll. But let me tell you, it's far from that, you know. And a lot of players, young guys that I meet, you know, who have aspirations to go out on the road, they don't stick it a year. They said, that's not the life for me, you know.
Yeah.
Because on average, I would imagine that possibly we spend 4 hours a day in each town. That's all we get to know, and that's all we get to see, really. So it averages out about 4 hours, and that's it.
And that's it?
That's it. That's it. People, we've been to some exotic parts, and people have said, oh, what's that like? I said, I haven't a clue. I haven't seen any of it. I've seen a hotel, and I've seen the gig, and that's all I've seen.
And back out and gone.
And back out again, you know.
Yeah, so it's a hard, but it's your lifestyle. You're a proper musician from a very young age.
Yeah.
An accomplished musician, I may add, excuse me, and in traditional circles, you are a traditional master as well.
Yeah.
And it's great to meet somebody like you and be in the company of you. Yeah. And I was in the music business for years, and that's where I met you, Pat, through the McCollums and stuff
through
like that.
Damien father, yeah. No, they were great musicians and a great family for music, you know.
Indeed.
And many's the good day I had there with Sean Maguire and Damien's father and Damien himself up around there, you know, listening to great music, you know.
Oh, the boys were always cooking music, weren't they?
A very musical family themselves, anyway.
And you're from Derry Lynn.
Derry Lynn originally. That's where I live in Timor now. I moved 3 miles up the road.
Oh, that was a big move, Pat.
Oh, it was a catastrophic move. I was a traitor. I've moved to Timor.
You crossed the border into Timor.
In football terms, I was in serious bother.
Serious bother. Well, we'll move over to Paul here. Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, and I'll tell you what, that's a wicked haircut you have, brother, I have to say, you know.
A bit like yourself, just very attractive.
Well, now, unlike Pat, you know, being Paul,
you can let us me. I can take one end, you can take the other.
We usually go shampoo and conditioner. We just wash and go. All right, Paul?
Mine just went.
So, Paul, can I get back to you there? Where are you from then?
I'm from Donaghmore in County Tyrone.
In the County Tyrone?
In the County Tyrone. Peter Canavan country.
Oh, yeah, a good man too.
Oh, damn.
I'm managing for Manna now too, traitor as well.
Well, there's a lot of border crossing going on in this speech, you know. But, Paul, how long have you been a musician?
Some people say too long. But
Was that you?
I've been playing, I suppose, professionally really from the last 30 odd years. But I've been playing with Pat 5 years. And before Pat, I played with a band called More Party Your Elbow.
Oh, yeah.
And we did a lot of work in the States and that. And then through the crew that I worked with, the Mamas Boys, they worked with More Power as well, and that's where I got to meet Pat, and that's just, it all moved on from there, and unfortunately for him.
Is that right, Pat?
Yes.
I think he still has it,
Yes, he got a few too many pints in him one night. He actually told me the story.
You hear that, Black?
Oh, I do. But now you see I have 2 pictures of him and from the bass drums, and we don't get on, I turn the bass drums round that road and hit the 2 of them.
Oh, do you hear that? Yeah, there's a bit of blackguarding going on here. Oh, yeah. There'll be more borders crossed this evening, I think. So, basically then, you 2 guys, did you blend from the very start?
Never blended in their life.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
How are you? This man, who you are?
Derek Hodgers.
Derek Hodges. So down there,
Derek's bass player.
Derek's he's a replacement for Marty.
Yes, right, yes.
I'm a stand-in for Marty.
You're stand-in for Marty.
Marty's a bit lonely at the minute.
He's a bit lonely. Yeah, he's missing the Blues Festival. Yeah. He's probably missing your van, Pat, is it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So does he travel in the front or the back? That's another question.
No, it's usually me in the back. I'm like Michael Jackson, I have to hide.
I drive.
don't start doing the moonwalk, I'm telling you now. So you played a gig already today, Pat.
Yes.
And then you're going to play one in the Balmoral here.
That's correct, yes.
And he's staying overnight and back. And
we do, yes, we stay tonight. Fortunately, we stay. Normally I go home, but fortunately tonight we get to stay, and then tomorrow we do 2 shows as well. And that's it wrapped up. Then after that, then we head for the Rory Gallagher Festival in Ballyshannon.
Ballyshannon,
yeah, and that's going to be a very special event because we have the great Andy Powell from Wishbone Ash coming over.
That's right, yeah.
And we're going to be doing some some of his classic stuff from Wishbone. So I'm really looking forward to it, you know.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean that's your I mean Rory and you. I mean.
Yeah.
You went back a while there.
Yes, I know. Well, I was fortunate enough to play a couple of times with Rory, and well, it's one of your heroes, you know, and just to be on the same stage was an accomplishment as far as I was concerned, you know, and he was a true rock legend, and the first real rock legend out of Ireland, you know.
Yeah.
I think thing about Rory was he laid the way for every other rock musician that came out of Ireland, and for bands in general. If it hadn't been for Rory, I don't think Irish music in the rock field would have been as far advanced as it is now.
Yeah, he seemed to be way ahead of his time.
Completely, I always say that. And it's funny, Rory's music's still very current.
Oh, it's very current.
You know what I mean? The music, the sound of it, everything. Normally you hear back on old records and you think, well, it's of its time, but not Rory's stuff. Rory's is just as current today, recording-wise, sound-wise, and everything else. He was a genius in my eyes. Yeah.
And unlike him, you have the 3-piece as well. The 3-piece.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, we aspired to that. I have to say, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that was what we loved, and that's what we wanted to try and emulate as best we could. So that's why I always stuck to a 3-piece. And there's no place to hide in a 3-piece.
Yeah.
You know, you really, it is, each man has to deliver, you know. So, and I like that aspect of it.
And deliver on time, obviously.
Yeah. And I like that aspect of being in the 3-piece band with Paul and with Derek and Marty at the time. So it's great, you know.
Yeah. Well, so you're gigging here tonight, and then 2 gigs tomorrow, and then Ballyshannon. Is there any more tours across?
Oh yeah. No, we head off. We do the Newport Festival in England. We do in the Cambridge Rock Festival. Then we fly to Corsica to do a great festival over there.
Wow.
We have a beautiful festival we do there every couple of years. And the last time it was with, believe it or not, it was with the Beach Boys, Tom Jones, Iggy Pop. This year. I'm actually headlining. I've graduated to headlining at the festival. Yeah, so I'm delighted. It was real progress as far. They love me over on that little island.
Oh, boy. And if you need a roadie, I'll carry your bags for you. Don't you worry about that, Pat. So what about you, Marty? Paul. What's ahead? Are you looking forward to this gig in Corsica to get there? Are you going to get the solar panel charged up?
Oh, don't you worry. We've gigs coming up in Corsica, with France, Holland, Austria, we've gigs in Austria as well, along with that's right, Richie Kotzen.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, sun, sea, sand, no my luck, there'll be no sax, but what do you do? What do you do? I'm a nice and brown, I've a nice wee brown head.
Oh, you'll come back like one of these, you know, Earl, what do you call it?
Hot chocolate.
Oh, hot chocolate. So you're looking forward to tonight's gig then, Pat?
Oh, I'm always looking forward to gigs.
I mean,
I like playing.
Music's your life, isn't it?
It is my life, you know, and it's something that it's all I've really ever known. I've been playing since live publicly since I was 7 years old. I mean, it was, you know, so that was me, you know, so I like playing music, and it's all I'm any good at.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're damn good, Pat, you're damn good. And Mama's Boys, man, you had a great circuit going there too.
We had, I suppose, it's funny, Tony, I didn't realise that we'd actually meant as much to people. You know, when you're young like that, it never dawned on me, you know. It's only in later years now that when people come up to me, that a lot of people still come up and talk about the band, and that, it sort of made it, I realised then that it must have meant a lot more to people then than I actually thought.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But at the same time, I was in that pub today now when I was watching you, and as ever, you're banging away like a champion. This man was cracking away. Yeah. And Pat, you were in the zone.
Yeah.
You were in the zone. But the amount of teenagers that I seen looking at you and going, wow, and you know, you're still you're still banging out classics that are still as fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
today?
well, I suppose so. You know, I mean, you know, I try to keep it fresh because I've never sat still in terms of recording. I've 4 new albums that I've done, solo albums. I have 3 DVDs that have been recorded. The last one actually was recorded in Drogheda, which was live, and the first actual live thing I've ever recorded in Ireland.
Wow.
And it turned out really, really well. And I was delighted with that. So, you know, I always try and keep musically moving forward, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps it fresh for me.
Yeah.
If it was just doing the same songs over and over and over and over. And it'd be very easy for me to do a whole load of Mama's Boys stuff and go down that whole nostalgia road. And a lot of bands have done that.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
No.
I just prefer to move on and try and stretch myself.
Yeah.
And
And maybe bang out, hold the classics, but then do
Yeah,
something new.
something new. And
Yeah.
that keeps it fresh. That keeps my interest.
Excellent.
You know, so
Excellent.
that's it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pat and Paul and
Derek.
Yeah.
I have to say, is are 3 absolute gentlemen.
Not at all.
And to come out and talk to a baldy git like me, well, baldy git, don't with the baldies. But Pat, it's a pleasure as always.
And always nice to
And-
see you, Tony, and thanks for
and
this. We
it's-
appreciate that.
I'm going to tell you all, we love supporting Pat McManus. You're a big, massive name in Ireland, England, and Europe. And listen, a pleasure, always a pleasure to support
God bless,
you, Pat.
and thanks
You know,
for that, Tony.
And we'll
Thank
catch
you.
up soon, okay?
And we'll catch up soon. Thank
I'm
you.
going to enjoy this gig, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you.